So what specific steps have you taken so far, and what do you still need to take?
Okay, so, so there's two different kinds of transitions, social and medical. The social transition is when you come out to people, to your friends, your family, your coworkers, you tell them, hey, I'm transitioning from this to that. I prefer to go by this certain name. Please, I would prefer to use either, for me, it's male pronouns. And it's not like clear-cut. Like every person will have their own sense of a timeline, like what is right for them. Like I knew people who changed their names before they even started testosterone. I knew people who got a hysterectomy before they did anything else. The process is different. It depends on what your financial, social situations are. But for me, coming out was a big first step. Then I started the process of changing my name and just taking testosterone. As far as the obvious question of surgeries goes, in order for me to change my gender marker in the state of Hawaii, I need to have for female to male, at least a hysterectomy. For male to female, I'm not sure. I think whatever the name of the surgery is to get their testicles removed. I don't know for sure exactly. So, but for me, it would have to be the hysterectomy. But I also, that I'm not really worried about just yet. I'm just happy that my name got changed. Yeah, I just need official papers and it's officially set that my name has changed. But eventually, I do want to have my chest, a mastectomy, have them removed, like masculinized. To me, ever since 11, 12, when I first started growing them, they felt like tumors to me. Like I would look at myself and like say, oh yeah, I look good, and then I look good. Like I would skip the middle part of the image in my mirror, and it even got to a point where I would pretend like I would see like an Abercrombie & Fitch ad or something, the male models, and there I'm like mentally copy and paste it onto the mirror in my mind. And that would make that give me just enough smile to get through the day. But then 21, 22, 23, 24, and now quarter life century. I'm like, shoot, I am quarter of a century old. That's like almost halfway to a midlife crisis, and what the hell am I going to do with my life? It's like, I don't want to live another 25 years wondering, like, when I'm 50, when I'm like my dad's age, I want to say, like, I'm living my life and I'm happy this is where I was meant to be. So that's pretty much the timeline for me as far as it goes. Any other questions?
Why change your name to Cyrus, which is Chris?
Okay, so Cyrus is a name I picked up in my high school world history class, in fact, my honors world history class. Cyrus was a Persian king. You guys all heard of Alexander the Great. Well, before him his name was Cyrus the Great. He conquered Babylon. He had this huge territory, not as big as Alexander's, but it was the biggest up until Alexander. And the cool thing about him was that he was in control of like from Middle East all the way to South Asia or somewhere. And he had all this territory, but instead of like being a tyrant and telling them, oh, you need to practice my religion, my politics, this and that, he let them practice their normal religions, their cultural practices, their politics. All he told them was, you pay me taxes, and I am in charge of you, and we're good. So I kind of it was like this benevolent king idea. And it kind of sounds vain to name myself after a king, but he was a good man. He was like a great man, and it's something like I want to aspire to, like to be a good person in the world and like make a difference in the world. Chris felt like it's in my middle name. I kept there mainly for my family to use because I know Cyrus is probably an odd way to see me after they had seen me as Christy for so many years. But Chris felt incomplete, like it was chopping half of it off. It didn't feel right to me. So, but out of respect for my family, I kept Chris just so that's something they can fall back onto if in case they still haven't mentally wrapped their minds around Cyrus. Any other question? Anything silly, stupid, whatever. Yes.
What was your YouTube about?
YouTube. Oh, Dragon Star Cyrus. And I have like videos from earlier this year, so you'll hear what I sound like. I had some really bad hair days in those videos. It's retarded. And yeah, you will see it and you'll laugh. But like when you listen to like the very first video I made and then you track it, you can hear the voice change. You can see like the shape of my face change and stuff. And I've been working out, and I'm liking what I see more and more. Like my shoulders gotten broader. the amount of push-ups they can do is like awesome, and it feels good. It feels like it's finally like what it's supposed to be. And actually, there's a huge trans community on YouTube. Like that's where I got a lot of my information from. They talk about top surgeons that do really good jobs. Like there's one guy, Dr. Garamoni in Florida. There's another guy, Dr. Brownstein in California. And there's just a huge, like people just talk about their lives. They just air it all out on the internet, and a lot of people message them, comment, and they just give people support. And there's a good-sized MTF community there too. But for me, it's huge. And there's actually another Hawaii guy that I just found on YouTube. And so I'm hoping like to eventually maybe start like a non-profit to help other guys with networking, support groups, maybe like even if I can like financially help them with their transitions, because it's not cheap. So I have to pay medical insurance on top of going to the doctors every 2 weeks, on top of the hysterectomy might be covered by my insurance, but my top surgery probably isn't because it's considered cosmetic. So and me, I'm working at like an $850 an hour job, so I'm making just enough to cover my stuff, and I count my blessings, but it's not it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Yeah.
What kind of doctor do you go to?
I have Kaiser, and as far as I know right now, because I'm part of this group called Trans Spectrum Hawaii, we don't have a website yet. It's still kind of in Yahoo Groups phase right now. Eventually I want to make a website and do all this kind of stuff, but the only doctor that I know of on this island is Dr. Kovac in Kaiser office in Honolulu, and he does, most of his patients are NTFs. His nurse Candace told me that I was like the third or the fourth FTM patient that they've had. So and that's why you're used to, when you think of mahus, you think of the tranny guy, women, in Waikiki on Halloween or something, or the drag queens. Like you don't even know drag queens. Like you don't even know if they're transitioning or they're just doing it for the show of it. So. Growing up, I always thought that trannies were MTFs, and I thought that was the only way to think about it. Then people like Thomas Beatty showed up, and no, I don't want to get pregnant. That's just, no. My girlfriend is going to have my kids, not me. But yeah, Thomas Beatty showed up, and then there's another guy out there, his name is Buck Angel. He was like the first FTM porn star, but his #1 base, customer base, get this, is gay men. Like gay men like his stuff because it's not about the parts. It's really just two men being masculine men, just porn, whatever. So it's out there. There's it's not an isolated thing. Hawaii's just a small community, and if anything, you guys probably just know a whole bunch of really butchy lesbians that if you ask them like if they really happy being girls, I bet you there might be a chance that they're not. They just won't say it outright unless you have us one-on-one. I mean, seriously, if anyone had really asked me about that, I could have told them how I was obsessed with like King Arthur ever since Sword and the Stone came out in Disney. Like I wanted to be Arthur, I wanted to be Lancelot, all this kind of male thinking, but I couldn't translate it to people because they all just saw me as a girl. Like I used to hit on girls in like first, second grade. When Aladdin came out back in the 90s, I'm dating myself or whatever, I would always pretend I was Aladdin, and this girl that I liked, her name was Tara, was like, she could sing, so we would try to do the whole New World duet thing, and I thought it was like really cute, and I had all this stuff in my head, but in her mind it was just like, oh, it's just friends having fun. So that, broke my heart a little bit, but oh well. But yeah, that's just to show like, I've kind of known about it for a long time. It just took me all these years to really have the light bulb turned on. Any other questions?
This is more like a statement.
Sure.
I know this is kind of odd, but like I used to always get confused with you and Christian. I know it sounds like.
Ironically, okay, so yeah, our brother Christian, he's the only son in the family, well, aside from Kamo's brother Keola, and he's gay. So my father probably has a lot on his mind, and he's got his only son is gay, and his oldest is a tranny. So that's why I kind of like deal with him kind of gently. And he's a Republican. Watches Fox News. Yeah. Watches Fox News all the time. When Prop 8 happened, he was like, yes! And I'm driving we're going to Dong Yang's to eat dinner, and I'm like, all this trouble over a stupid name. Like, really? And then he just like, So, yeah. coming home to listen to Glenn Beck is not something happy to listen to.
I joined the club, man. My dad does it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know your parents.
My dad, a big buff, bald guy, listening to Glenn Beck yelling on the way home from school.
Oh, that's behind
That guy
us
needs a picture of mine. Real. But yeah, any other questions, statements, comments? Sure. You're awesome. Thank you. Okay, I guess that's it. And yeah, if you guys ever want me to come back and you guys have other questions and stuff, you can just like comment on. Sure.